Hey everybody, I'm back. This time I'm reviewing a figure that somebody requested. This is the SOTA Revolutions Zangief. I call him Zangief. Some people pronounce it Zangief. That's probably right, but that's not the way I say it, so I'll stick with Zangief. You'll know who I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the player 1 color. He's got the red and yellow detailing all over. Red boots, red trunks, red wristbands with yellow accents, yellow belt, and yellow tops to the boots. Overall, this is a pretty good figure. He's a little bit taller than Sagat, so he's really sizable. No problems there. If you've seen the pictures of the original prototype for Zangief, though, you're going to be disappointed with this figure. It's not the original one. They made this one very different from the prototype. The prototype had a real, excuse me, had a real kind of like really muscular torso, big chest, big back, a little better sculpted head. This one is not that. This one's a little bit, leaves a little bit to be desired, I guess you could say. He does have a nice head sculpt. You can see it right there. Nice head sculpt. Good paint app for the most part. Some of them got a little goofy. Some of the paint apps not so much, not so great. But I'll show you that on the variant. The paint app on the body is pretty good. He's got all the different scars that are on him. They're all painted, so that's a nice little detail. Um, the hair on the chest is probably supposed to be a little different than this, but that's the way it turned out on the figure. It looks kind of weird, especially with the weird shaped chest, really narrow chest and big shoulders, but it's not bad. This Revolutions line suffers from unfinished sculpt syndrome. You can see he's got the peg holes, these weird peg holes showing in some spots. His alternate hands are kind of rough. They're not quite finished all the way. He does have two of those, by the way. Two open hands and two closed hands. Those are the accessories for Zangief. And just a few little details here and there. They're just not quite finished all the way. But here you can see right here the peg sticking out on the arm a little bit, and on the inside of the shoulder muscle. It looks kind of rough there, and the peg sticking out again. But aside from that, there's really no problem. The joints are loose, but not so loose that you can't pose him. I don't really ever have any trouble posing him. Sometimes he'll fall over, but once you find that nice balance, you can get some really good poses out, and there's really no problem. He does have a little bit different articulation than the regular SOTA figures, the original group. The shoulders are ball joint, kind of like you would expect, no problems there. Neck is the same, ab crunch basically the same. The swivel in the right above the bicep, it's all the same. The elbow is the same as most figures. The top half's basically the same. The hips are basically the same. Knees, a little different here. Even though he has a single jointed knee, it's kind of shaped weird. And I guess that's a little bit to be expected for the single joint, but it could have been better. He could have definitely benefited from a double jointed knee like the rest of the figures. And the ankle is definitely a different joint than the regular SOTA. The foot has no articulation in it at all. The ankle's got the regular pivot in there. It's got kind of a weird rotation too because the peg that connects to the foot connects forward instead of straight down. So it rotates a little bit differently. It's not really a bad thing, it's just a different thing. And once you get used to it, you can still get some really good poses out of him. And he's really a great figure to display. He goes nicely with the rest of the figure. Some people say he's just too big. In my opinion, Zangief is supposed to be that tall, so it really doesn't bother me. And you do have two variants of this figure. If you really like it, go ahead and pick it up. Make sure you pick up the variants also. The first variant is the regular release. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not regular. The only regular one is the player one. This is the Comicon exclusive 2-pack Zangief. He's got the green and yellow outfit instead of the red and yellow. His paint app's just a little bit different. The paint's a little bit glossy. A lot of that is due to mold release, but the paint is just a bit shinier on this figure than it is on the other one, and it doesn't bother me. Um, I don't know if it's common for this figure, but the ankle broke for me. The peg that holds the foot in that I was talking about broke off. I was able to fix it using a screw, and you can't even tell it was ever broken. But maybe other people had that same problem, so keep an eye out for that. Really, it's the exact same figure, just different paint app. His face, let's see if we can zoom in on it enough. This is what I was talking about for the face. He's got kind of a googly eye, just a little bit off center, but it's not terrible, not to the point where it really is a problem. Let's see, that's not going to help. But keep an eye out for the paint app if you're purchasing one of these. If it's loose, definitely keep an eye out for that, and that way you can see exactly what you're getting before you buy it. But overall, you won't have any trouble with it. They're nice figures, and in general, they have good paint app on them. That's basically the two regular versions. The green one is the exclusive. And here's another exclusive, the Mecca Zanghi. A lot of people didn't like this because he's so dark and not silver, but it is like a metallic gunmetal color. I don't have a problem with it. He's got the dark red trunks with the light red accents, same for the boots and wrists. His eyes and teeth are red. I'm not sure about the teeth, if they're supposed to be red or not, but that's how they are on the figure. Same exact mold, just different paint app, really. He's got some gray dry brushing on the hair, on the head, and on the chest. I think the scars are a little bit darker. I can't tell if that's just the way the mold makes it look or if they're actually painted. I really can't tell. So you be the judge of that. It's really close if they are painted. His joints are a little bit looser even than the other two, mostly in the hip joint. I'm not sure if that's just my figure or if that's how they are in general, so keep an eye out for that also. But still, really good figure in my opinion. Once you get past the narrow chest and the loose joints, really no problems. You won't be disappointed with this figure. So I recommend picking it up. It's great to display. Let's get them all in the shot together. Great to display all three of them together, especially. But if you don't want to do that, at least get one of them to put in your Street Fighter collection because he's one of the main original 8 characters. So there you go. There is Zangief. Keep an eye out. I'll do a couple more SOTA reviews and a couple Transformer reviews once I can find the figures. So in the meantime, keep collecting.